Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Resin Me Up. So today I thought that I would take a moment and I would show you guys how to make glow in the dark pigment paste. And because I have to make it anyway, so I might as well show you how I do it, right? So, and I know a lot of you in the comments have said that you never even thought about making glow in the dark pigment paste. And so I want to show you how I do it. So I've got my Let's Resin glow in the darks over here. So today I'll show you, and I'm not sure why they give you two sky blues. Do you guys have two sky blues in your box? Because it's kind of weird. Guess I didn't know that you got two sky blues. Guess I never really paid attention to that before. So today, that's what we're going to do. So I've got my jars, finally. They are a bit bigger, but I like my jars a little bit bigger because it gives you the opportunity to stir when you need to stir. When you have little tiny jars, you know, for me, it doesn't give you the opportunity to stir inside there, because obviously when you have a paste, you have to stir them before you use them because it's going to settle. All paste does that. So you always have to stir before using. So I got my jars. And spatula, and I have leftover Let's Resin epoxy part B, and it does not matter. You can use part A and part B. Does not matter at all. And because this powder is fine, but it's also a little grainy, so I'm going to show you what I do before I mix it up. So we'll put one aside. I don't think I need both right at the moment, but brand new bottle. So I just take off this top. And this is a mortar and pestle. And it's a marble one. You can get them anywhere. I got mine at Marshall's, and it was fairly cheap. And I just wipe it out after every use because sometimes your previous mix or whatever, and then I wipe off my pestle just in case. All right, and then I just pour all of the powder in there. And this stuff lasts. I still have some from last year that I mixed up, and it's still perfectly fine and still glows just fine. So I mean, I don't know that there is a shelf life. Maybe there is. I don't know. But as long as it's still glowing and still fine, I don't think there's an issue. Now, the label on these bottles come in pretty handy. And I'll show you what I do with that. I take my heat gun and I just heat that up. Doesn't take but a couple seconds. And then I peel it. Once you heat it up, it just comes right off. Some of the glue will stay on the bottle, but enough of it will come off with the sticker. And then you can either put it on the side. I like mine on the top because it's easily seen that way. And then I just stick it right on the top. Just like that. Done. And then I just toss the bottles because I don't need them for anything. Okay, now on to the powder. I take this and I just go in there and I start grinding it up a little bit to make it a little more fine. I mean, it's already fine, but sometimes when you make it a little finer, it just makes it all that more easier to mix. And this will work well also with those fluorescent powders. So if you wanted to make some of those, the Let's Resin fluorescent powders into pastes, you can do the same thing with that. Because they're hard to mix and dissolve into resin, and they leave chunks. And so this is a good way for you to use these and not leave chunks. And, you know, I've been seeing a lot of people dissolve these in alcohol. Alcohol is expensive. And if you've got leftover part A or part B, instead of just letting it sit and or throw it away or whatever you're doing with it, use it to your advantage. And inevitably, I always have a little bit of one or the other. So might as well use it to your advantage and make yourself some pastes, especially with these, because it's just easier to mix it up in your resin versus trying to use alcohol, which is, like I said, very expensive. And for a while there, you guys, I couldn't even get alcohol here in my town during COVID. Okay, so let me get my bowl. And they say that you should mix this on a flat surface with a palette knife, but I find it's just as easy to mix them with a bowl and a spatula, a big bowl, not something small. I had my pumpkins and stuff in here yesterday, so there's glitter in here. So got to get that out. Just make sure that your bowl is clean. Just like that. And then I just put this in the bowl. And I'm using a brand new spatula, so that way I'm not cross-contaminating anything. And how much resin you put in there is dependent on how strong you want your paste to be. If you want it to be really concentrated, then that's going to determine how much you use. There is no set in stone how much resin you want to put in it. They say that you don't want to have 10% more of that than you do the resin. Well, it's all going to depend on how much you want or how strong you want your paste to be. So if you're going to want a really strong paste, then mix your resin accordingly. And since I'm using all of the powders, all of the powder in there, I'm going to mix it. Whoop, 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 whoop. Easy there. So do you see how strong that paste is going to be? And that's good because that means you're going to use less of your paste and it'll go farther. Kind of like, you know, your white pigment paste, your black pigment paste, you're not going to use as much. And I'm okay with that. Because last year, when I was doing my 31 days of Halloween, I went through every single bit of my powders. Everyone. And I wished that I would have had pastes, all of the pastes last year. I made a couple of my own pastes, but I didn't think ahead to make all of them. And so this is a pretty potent paste. So I won't need as much of this in my resin mixes now. Little dab will do ya. But it's also going to mix very well into my resin now because I won't need so much. Does that make sense? And then I just pour this in to the jar. And I could have probably put that other sky blue in here, but for video purposes today, just wanted to show you how I was mixing it. So your mixing consistency is going to be based on how strong you want your paste to be. And I've seen some people, you know, mixing their mica powders and all the stuff with alcohol. And, you know, if you get too much alcohol with your, don't know if you guys know this or not, but if you take your mica powder, you put alcohol with it to dumb it down, per se, you know, to dissolve it, it actually changes the concept of your powder. So, like if it's a color shift or if it's a, you know, a high quality mica powder, it will actually change the how do I want to word this? It'll actually change how it comes out, how the color comes out. It'll change it. Whereas with the pigment paste, you're not changing anything because you're not diluting it. Does that make sense? Because with alcohol, you're actually diluting it. Sometimes the chemical composition of things should not be changed. And with resin, it's always good to know what you're doing before you change the chemical composition of things. So you might always want to look into that. So now I've got a really good paste that I can use for my glow in the dark. So that is how I do mine. And then I just take a paper towel and I wipe down the edge so that I don't get anything all icky inside my lid. And now I have sky blue. So there you have it. Now you guys know. Perfect. Okay, let me get this cleaned up, and we're going to make a project today with this sky blue. What do you guys think about that? Okay, all right, BRB. Okay, got my resin mixed up. I'm going to set these over here, and we're going to mix in some of this. Okay, y'all. So what I did is I mixed in a little bit of my blue from last year, and I wanted it to be a little blue. And my blue from last year is a mix of the blue Let's Resin. It's the blue and the sky blue, and that's what I made last year. And so, and I might just add just a tidge more, because I want it to have a hint of the blue color too. So that, but also the sky blue color too. So copy off of Renee over at Heart Creations by Renee. She's always using her fingers. I don't like to use my fingers because it's messy, but we is in a time crunch. Got to get this resin poured. Now I mixed up 600 mLs. Is it enough? I don't know. I've never poured this pumpkin before, but I got to get it poured because these are the Into Resin molds, and which, by the way, you guys, we were going to do the drawing for that today, but guess what? They're on holiday. So they come back on the 9th. And so we're just going to wait until the 9th to do the drawing. And so that gives you guys a few more days to get your hashtag Into Resin in the comments. I knew they were going to go on holiday. I just wasn't sure of the exact dates. So not a big deal. Just gives you guys a little more time. I mean, there's no point in me drawing and then sending it to them because they're not going to get it. So not a big deal. So y'all make sure you go out there and get your hashtag in the comments. All right, here we go. let me go run this through my vacuum chamber for both of these and then get them filled up. And then we'll meet you guys back here on demold, and I'll find something for this. Okay. Okay, guys, we're back. Get that released out of there. Okay, just gonna fold this. See if I can get that released. There we go. Come on. All right. Okay, y'all, you get to have voiceover Mary for a second. So after this is all cleaned, it turned out actually pretty. The mold is like a half and half. The top half is like a chunky diamond, and the bottom half is like, and the inside is matte. But the bottom half is like a small diamondy, and then there's the stars in the bottom. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty. So let's get the lid out here and see what it looks like. My microphone died, so imagine that. I just love that sound when you're crunching it. Too bad you guys can't hear it, huh? Somebody needs to make a microphone that when it dies, it beeps or something. I need to get on that, make a patent. So there's the lid, and it is all that fine diamondy look, and it is so pretty. Look at that. Very pretty. Trim off this excess that I over poured right here in this one spot. So there's the lid. It's still quite soft. So, and it's got stars, a moon, and a planet on the top of it. Yeah, so there you have it. Clean off my table here so nothing gets stuck to it. And now we'll take out this matte mold pumpkin, see what it looks like in the glow in the dark blue. Ah, I even got the whole stem this time. Yay! Clean out that excess underneath there. It always, with this pumpkin, there's always a little bit of thin excess that you have to get out from underneath there. I'm out of frame too. Sorry about that. Come on, Miss Mary, move it over so you can get it in frame. There we go. I realize it here in a minute that my microphone died. But it doesn't give you a warning. It just dies and you just don't know it. So I'm trimming off the excess at the bottom of the pumpkin. If you don't fill that mold all the way like up to the top, it leaves an edge on it. Usually I fast forward through this part, but since I'm on voiceover, I have no clue how to do that. So I guess you guys get to watch me. And it's boring, I know. Sorry. At least I'm in frame, right? You can see me doing it. Okay, now it's done. So there is the matte mold pumpkin in the glow in the dark blue. And I think now I'm going to get ready to show you what it looks like in the dark. And I might be realizing it here very quickly that my microphone has died. And I switch microphones. Yep. Lights are going out, and here shortly I realize that the microphone's died and I switch microphones. So be prepared. I will be switching here in a minute, and you'll hear me coming on with the other microphone. So I'll you'll hear me here in a little bit. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I just realized my mic was dead. Hopefully, I'll go back and figure out where it died. Gosh, should have known. We don't have any sunlight today, so I can't put these in the sun. It's all rainy here today. So if this died right when I was demolding these, I'll have to go back and look to see. I may have to do that here in a minute so I can see where it died, so that way if it died in the beginning, then I can re-explain some things. I like that blue. Do you guys like that blue? Isn't it pretty? So there's our glow. Isn't it pretty? Pretty, pretty. Of course, I have my light on, the light's coming in through the window too, so it's pretty. I wonder what would happen if we put tea light in it. And that's what it looks like with the tea light. Ooh, spooky. This isn't quite cured yet, so let me grab a... Oof, good grief. So that would be with... I just don't want to put that on there because it's not quite cured. So that would be what it looks like on a lamp. That's such a pretty blue. I like it. Sorry, didn't mean to blind you. So that's what it looks like on there. And then this was the clear from yesterday. I had something in my mold yesterday because it didn't come out on this one, but it did on that. It was my bad. Okay, shut this off. And let me go put you guys on pause. Let me look at the video and see where my mic died. Okay, we're good. It didn't die until right when I was demolding these. And so generally I fast forward through that part anyway. So we're good. So you guys will have to let me know what you think about this pumpkin. I'm pleasantly surprised. It did turn out prettier than I thought it was going to. And because they did the chunky here, and then they did the small diamondy, you know, the diamond crusted down here, so that makes it very unique. I really like it. I really do. And then, of course, the lid is all of the diamond crunchy encrusted, or whatever you want to call that. And so it actually turned out pretty good. I really like it. And the stars don't bother me. I like it. It really did turn out good. I really like how it looks. And the glow in the dark turned out really well. And of course, I do like the matte mold look too. So yeah, so you guys have to let me know what you think. And also the glow powder, you'll have to let me know what you think about that. And yeah, so that's it for me today, guys. Tomorrow is coasting through the week, and I have a bit of a surprise for you for that tomorrow. So definitely make sure you stay tuned in for that. Or wait, what is today? Today's only Monday. Never mind. Forget it. I'm a day ahead. So tomorrow's Tuesday. I was thinking yesterday was Monday because I did a video on a Sunday and I don't usually do that. So I'm all thrown off. So anyway, tomorrow is Tuesday. So I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm sure it's going to be something to do with 31 days of Halloween, right? So stay tuned and see what I have planned for tomorrow. But definitely stay tuned for Wednesday because I have something very special planned for coasting through the week. And so, yeah, and make sure you go out and check out Marva and Laura because they joined me on this 31 days of Halloween. And I will link the playlist in my description box. And so you guys can join in on what they're doing for their 31 days of Halloween. And yeah, so remember, stay curious, stay creative, and always stay positive and be kind and stay spooky. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care.